All right, so I've been having this noise. Just replaced the sway bar link there. I've been having this noise while driving that I think was caused by the sway bar link. And the reason I say that is that on the original part here, this was like the more expensive part or whatever, but it's got this plastic bit. It's like a double-sided collared thing, and it's got the screw that goes up through it, again all plastic, and this 13 millimeter head, and I don't even know where the top end of the bolt went. I haven't recovered that yet. Just I've got the head but not the nut. I don't know what happened to the nut when the nut end of it broke off, but it sheared, you see. And you can see how small this is. That's the full size of that piece of metal. I mean, it may have oxidized down a little, but that's the size of it. And then this all goes into the collaring of these here. And anyway, so that's, I don't know that that's an original part, but it's certainly a very old, worn part. This one was fairly cheap, but I believe it was. Yeah, it's DriveWorks. So these are usually the lower cost ones, but some of these will last. And this is more of the truck style, actually, where you have to piece them together. The difference is the ones on the trucks, that little center shaft there, the little silvery bit right there, is like that long instead of that long. And so anyways, while I've been under here, there's this mystery goop on the steering rack. I kind of got to wonder about what that's about. Oh, there's the top of the freaking A. You see what I'm saying? Wow. Okay. So this is the inner part. And this is the outer part. Maybe that's an original part that was never changed, but it's, wow, yeah. I'm not even gonna be able to get that off of there, but look at how the end is versus the center. So I don't know if this is just stretched from heat or what the deal is. But anyways, you can see that is the source of the squeak that my car was making, I believe. So I'm going to do the other side too. But I just wanted to point this out. There was this skrunk sound every time I'd go up, nose up or down. Or when I was jacking it up, it even made this noise. So as long as there isn't also a problem with the frame or something, like the subframe on the front. Now I've also degreased around here because I'm curious whether or not this CV is correctly in or not, or if the goop that's on it has something to do with that. But the way this thing is sitting, I'm not exactly comfortable at this time testing that out. So it would be something where I'd have to go find a concrete flat spot that I could jack this up better and do it. The other thing is I never did loosen that, so I can't do anything really with this with it hooked on. But if I loosen that giant nut there, I'd have to put the tire back on the car, lower the car down, and then loosen that, and then take the car back up and take the tire back off, and then I can take that nut off, and this thing will swing free of well, it'll slide free, theoretically, of the wheel hub here, and then I can kind of see if I can't push that back in. But I don't want to do this where I'm just up on a jack. Getting the height for the jack stand's been kind of a trick in this spot, and with the slight angle and the gravel, it's just flat concrete's a better place to do that kind of thing. You can get a jack stand under it and be safer. So that's one of those rules of mechanics. If you're doing it here, I mean, there's certain risks you may have to take just because you have to get it done. But I'm not in a have to get it done situation, so I'm not taking any risks. These have been amply hit with the PB blaster all around and throughout all. This is a bolt with a capture nut. And then there's a bolt up under there that I've also blasted. And this here, this is being kind of a dork right now, the outer tie rod end. But I do have a replacement arm because the ball joint is on that, and eventually here I'm kind of thinking my next day off might be the day for that, or I don't know. For one thing, I'm intimidated. For another, I know that the amount of PB that I put onto here is not enough to loosen these things up. And without really fighting it, shaking the car off the jack or doing damage to the subframe, because this thing's old and I just got it and I don't know that much about it, that I'm going to do what I have to do, not what I felt like doing at some point. But I have the backups, because if these things fail, I have the replacement. So that's where I'm at with it. And I was hoping it wasn't something with the steering rack, because, I mean, it doesn't look too terribly difficult to get out. And there is kind of a rattling sound at the steering that I'm going to have to find out if there's a steering linkage in between there that might be replaced. I seem to recall some of these cheaper GMs having those like that, where there's a little U-joint or something. And if that goes, then you have to replace the little go-between from this little gearbox right here, and where it comes up into the steering underneath of the vacuum booster. All right, well, I think that's about it for this. Let me see if I can. Try not to get. I got. Oh, no! Oh, we're still recording. Oh, screen covers delaminating. Get on it. Get on it. Go on. Don't make me touch it. I'm so sorry, folks. All I was really trying to do here was show that that also has had to be hit with the penetrating oil. So it's not going to loosen itself or anything, but as long as this oil works its way in, I will be able to. I don't know, honestly, that's not as bad as it could be. Gonna be eventually replacing that, because the ball joint is attached to it. So when the ball joint finally does completely go, or whatever, if it hasn't already, we'll find out after a test drive, then that can be replaced, because I have the part. I'm also going to have to order this little arch-shaped thing where this is the sway bar that I've replaced the link to. It links it to the control arm. This mounting bracket and bushing need probably replaced as well, but I don't know if you have to get a new sway bar package to get that part in. I think I can get them ordered, but they said it would be a while, and clearly the sway bar is an issue to get through here unless you remove the steering rack. So if you're removing the steering rack, you probably want to do the sway bar, and if you have to do the sway bar, you might just want to consider doing a steering rack, depending on how much the part costs and your experience in doing these kind of things. I think if I was going to do one, I would probably do the other, just because it makes them both more accessible. Fuel stuff. I've never really looked up from under here. This is fascinating. But you can see here, there's this little boot, and up inside of that boot, there might be something going clickety, clickety, click, which can be replaced. And for the top end, without leaning on the car, it might seem intimidating, but either from the angle I was just at, you can see that little boot right where the light is hitting there, just to the left of it. That's the same spot. It seems intimidating, but a lot of this stuff can actually be removed fairly easily to make way. So, I don't know, we're going to find out eventually. But that's what I got. I'm going to go ahead and sign this off and continue about my day. Same thing here. As soon as I went to twist the thing off, it just snapped. So I'll be carving that out and then replacing it with another of the same. Just thought I'd update that.